what you're watching is that Bitcoin just pushed higher. It is coming back to break the short-term levels with a bullish divergence. And as we talked in the last couple of videos, this is now turning neutral. It was fear, and just the last move created last week into the neutral zone from the fear zone. Now you're looking at the greed. So automatically, things are changing. Yeah, there are news, there are narratives which you should be watching, which would give you clarity about how investors are looking at into this asset class. But one of the primary aspects which you should look at is a breakout. We're trying to do that, but there is a possibility that we may fake out. You don't want to get into a trap. Rather, you want to wait for clarity. Now, on a macro, things are changing. It looks good. Say, for example, you take an asset like this, and it shows you it is forming a double bottom. And that double bottom is happening on a macro structure. So your ROI is going to be decent. The MACD suggests I'm crossing to the upside. I'm ready to do that. But what's the red flag there? How can you understand where you should be buying if you are going levered? If not, it's okay. Even a small leverage, it's okay, it's fine. But if you're going highly levered, that can be danger. Now, say you're a spot rider. You're looking at the momentum side of the equation. You're looking at trend formation, especially when new trends are forming. You would like to take benefit of it at the support. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. While you're watching this, the thought process was clear. We had the argument given to the Scientific Investor family saying, guys, if we break this, we're going higher. What was that? Yeah, bring bullish outlook for the short term. And this was while we were close to 61,000 at that time. Right now, you're watching Bitcoin is close to $63,000. It's flirting with that level. So on the micro to short term, you just got that move. Is altcoin market performing like that? Not yet, because the Bitcoin dominance is riding back up to test the resistance. Can we break that resistance to the upside? Maybe, maybe not. But what matters here is the macro direction. That resistance has held down the Bitcoin dominance for a long period of time. So if you do wait for it, it may come back up to test the macro resistance. So in there, what matters is a higher time frame chart. You're going to a 3-day chart, you're watching, it is forming a huge doji with a long wick to the downside. And that's on a 3-day. Now we go on a weekly. On the weekly, this is what you're watching. We're consolidating there. Now remember, this is all happening while the dollar is trying to slowly push higher. And some of these emerging market currencies are getting crushed. Say 84.08 for INR. And that's a big blow because that's where we closed highest in the history. Now, if you look at the 3-day chart, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It is going through to the upside. So emerging market currencies are getting crushed. And if people in those countries would like to have some stability, they will have to look at the crypto market. But the argument of maybe don't enter completely makes a lot of sense when you look at a 3-day chart. Meaning you can dip your toes in, that's okay. But then, remember, if the market is saying for one red candle to the downside, it took 3 green candles to the upside, maybe you're going to get one more dip. So it's showing you the one big candle to the downside, and it's already 3 candles on a 3-day chart. That's 10 days. And you're still not reaching some way close to the resistance, which means you may get this as a double bottom or here as a perfect bullish divergence. That can happen. But does that matter on a macro chart? It does not. Because what you're forming even at that point is a macro bottom. Buying at the support on a macro chart gives you the ability to say, I bought the lows. Not the absolute lows for sure, but in few weeks to a couple of months, you will be able to watch the price going up like this and your buys are still at the bottom. So one of the easy way to look at this is to go onto a weekly chart. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. Historically speaking, the RSI has stayed neutral on a weekly to monthly chart. So now, what's more important? Support resistance. So this range has been acting as a tough resistance for a long period of time. Now it's flipped. Now this is just one asset showing you that the horizontal support works well. And it's not only the horizontal support which is acting here, it's also the long-term trend line support, rising trend line with the MACD, with the RSI, and everything else joining the party. Which means, say you're a trend-based guy, you like that. Now you're watching yourself as a pattern-based guy. Now you're looking for a bull flag, a breakout. As soon as this breaks, you enter, right? That's how things work. So depending on what kind of an investor, what kind of a trader you are, there are hundreds, if not thousands of assets in this market which are slowly turning to the bullish side of the equation. You can feel that, you can see that just with the volume. Not all assets are doing the same. Say, for example, you take SXP, that's swipe. Now, what are you doing there? You are looking at the altcoin market in different segments, in different sections. Why is that important? You want to see which direction investors are going in. And as you can see, this is a bull flag which broke to the upside, retested, and is bouncing off. Now, the bounce off directly does not equate to a big blow to the upside. Rather, you keep your eyes on a macro chart and your macro levels. This was the macro support of the accumulation zone. Now, what did the price just do in front of you? Take those lines of the bull flag out. You may be looking at this with a little bit more clarity now. This is the spring of Wyckoff in this particular asset. And that's all that matters. I mean, if you're able to ride an asset while it already showed you the spring, while it's showing you the MACD on a weekly is crossing to the upside and the RSI is now breaking 50 mark. That doesn't happen every now and then. You can see when it does, it equates to something positive. Yeah, you can look at the short-term resistance using the trend lines. That can help you if you are trading with leverage. If you're a spot buyer who's riding this asset or assets like these, you don't really care about those. What you do care is a breakout here. And once it breaks, you know it's a macro run up which is starting now. Now, what do you mean by a macro run? How long can we go inside a macro run? Is it a month? Is it 2? Is it 3? When you start those rides to the upside, it's confusing. But keep in mind, the weekly is still here. You have not yet broken to the downside. You're slowly turning, and this week right now is in red. So by Monday, if this candle closes in red, that's a concern. And if it does not, you go back in green, and that's magical. But yeah, you'll have to look at what the 3-day shows. You'll have to look at what the daily shows. It all should be compared directly with the monthly. So the macro, which is the monthly, suggesting I'm turning green. Daily and 3-day has already turned green. Now we are waiting for the weekly to say the same story. As soon as you see the weekly giving you the idea, now don't go against it. Because one of the easy thing here is that the Ranko, on a weekly, it's negative. So the bottom of the range is 56 and the top of that range is 63. So unless you see Bitcoin breaking above 63 on a weekly, the range extension, the range expansion is not happening. So you go on a 3-day and you see, on a 3-day, it is suggesting that it is breaking higher and the top of the range is 65. Now, on a 3-day, the Ranko, which is one of the safest charts, shows you if you don't break 65, it's trouble. You're still bullish, but you're not having higher momentum. So you go on a daily to see if that 3-day range will change. So the daily shows you if you break above 63, which we are really close, you're putting in another range to the upside. So go back on to the weekly. The weekly is showing you what? Above 62, 763 range. It is the new extension to the upside. That's on a weekly. So the monthly is already showing you if that weekly extension happens, you can now look for the top of the range, which is 70,000. I know the prevailing thought process in the market is 45, 49, depending on who you ask. But this is what the chart shows you. It's not me. It's just the charts. And it's the way it is, right? It's the monthly, it's the weekly, 3-day, and a daily. So you're literally watching how it's evolving. And you don't want to go against it and literally speculate against it. Rather, you would like to stay in picture with it. So say you take XRP. Morning star on a 3-day chart is not bad. And that too happening at a support level is very vital for a bullish move. But unless you break this, hold on to your nerves. Now we take meme coins. It's following a trend line. Okay, so who is buying these assets at the trend line resistance? Last time it got rejected there. Now it broke higher. It's retesting there and trying to bounce higher. So on a 3-day chart, it does show you that these kind of assets may do this to retest the bottom and then go higher. Fine, but you'll have resistance as you go. So watch the resistance of different categories, whether it's meme coins, whether it's AI, whether it's gaming. You should be looking at those, because if not, the price can actually come down to the macro trend line and surprise you. So that is one of the primary reasons why I say follow the market on a short term as well. Not like an hourly chart, but at least on a daily. This gives you an idea where it may reverse. So this is why the charts like this in the SR family makes a lot of sense. While you look through those and say, if someone had told me that this was a bullish sign, I would have entered, then you should be in the SI family. This kind of gives you the ability to push the price higher with the whales. You're not a whale, but you can do that because the whales are trying to push the price up, and you see that before the majority sees that, and you seizes that opportunity. So if you are a part of the SI family, you already knew that, and if you'd like to join, use the link in the description below and jump in. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button for me, and remember, the market is here. Things are changing and changing for the macro picture. So when they invite the majority, and the majority is not searching for these assets, be careful. They'll actually push the price to the sky to make sure the majority now search for Bitcoin. Make sure the majority now enter crypto. This is what they want. If they do not see the majority coming here to search this asset class, what will they do? They'll make them do it. How can they do it? Push the price substantially to the upside. What we want to do is join the whales, ride it to the upside. When the majority is starting to enter, exit. We don't want to follow the majority. So guys, bye for now.